Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Yesterday, I was thinking about seasons of life, and it made me think about the season to which I had a business, and it was only like this year to which I realized that what season I went through over the past 3 years, and that season was just primarily for me to become aware of who I am and to become aware of my gifts. And I was thinking about how powerful could I have been in this new season of my life if I knew that season was for me to become aware of myself, for me to become, to know to know exactly what my gifts are, to know what God is calling me to do. In this new season of my life, to which I thank God, He has shown me that this season of my life is the season to kind of like implement and to kind of like work in my gifts. But at the same time, because I was not so fully aware that I was supposed to become aware of my gifts and to become aware of what God has put inside of me. In this new season of me implementing and acting on my gifts, I'm still trying to know who I am and to know fully what God has called me to be. And that also has somewhat hindered to the extent to which I am able to operate in just acting, because at the same time I am continuously learning who I am and what God has put inside of me. So this video is all about capitalize on every season that you're in. Ask God to show you what does He want you to gather, what does He want you to know in this season. Because most of the time it's usually at the end of the season to which we become aware of what the season was for. But when I was thinking about it, how powerful could we be if in the season we are aware of what God wants us to do in this year, what God wants us to do in this walk of life that He's calling us into. And it also made me think about just relationships and this single season that I'm in. Because a large part of this season, of my single season, I've been wanting to have a girlfriend, wanting to have a wife. But God is calling me into this season of preparing myself, making myself ready, preparing myself, making myself the husband that I need to be for my wife. And what has hindered me so much is because I have decided to work so hard on looking for the woman instead of preparing for myself. And that could possibly might prolong the season. So it's only now that I thank God that I'm no more like in search mode. Whereas right now I'm just trying to improve myself, make myself the man that I need to be the husband for my wife to be. Yeah, so whatever season that you're in, be there. Ask God to give you direction. Ask God to give you direction on what season that you're in, whether maybe you're in transition, maybe you are trying to look for a new job, maybe God is silent, maybe things are not working out the way you want them to work out. Ask God, what do you want me to get out of this season? What am I missing out of this season? How should I prepare for the season that I know that you're calling me for? I realized that I come here and I talk mostly on my encounters with God, and that's just because I know God more from my encounters than from the biblical word. And I'll say that's not right. I need to have some biblical context, some biblical understanding for myself as well as for you guys who I will be sharing the word. So I will no longer be just encounter filled, but word filled. Can we open our Bibles to Romans 8? Where are we going first? Romans 8:28. It says, "We know that God is always at work for the good of everyone who loves Him." So God is working for those who love Him. They are the ones God has chosen for His purpose. So we can never go wrong if we're following God, if we're getting direction from God. He's at work over your life, even though it doesn't seem like things are working out. Just know, do you love God? Then you must know that He's at work. He's doing a mighty thing in your life, and you just need to change your perception over the season that you're in. Let's go over to Genesis 45, verse Genesis 45, verse 7 to 8. And this is one of my favorite stories in the Bible. It's about Joseph, the greatest story I think that I've heard in the Bible. Genesis 45, verse 7 to 8, and it says, okay, where is it? But God sent me on ahead of you to keep your families alive and to save you in this wonderful way. After all, you weren't really the ones who sent me here. It was God. He made me the highest official in the king's court and placed me over all of Egypt. So as we know, Joseph, he went through different seasons of life. He went through the seasons to which he was a dreamer. Then he went through the season to which he was tested. Then he went through the season to which he was accused. Then he went through the season to which he was appointed this highest official. He went through the season to which he was to operate in his gift. And all of these seasons that he went through of the dream, of being tested, of being accused, of having to operate in his gift in the prison, allowed for him to be the highest official. It says Genesis 45, verse 7, it says, but God sent me ahead of you to keep your families alive and to save you in this wonderful way. But just imagine if Joseph didn't go through those seasons. There's no way that he was going to be the highest official. There was no way that he was going to save his family in this wonderful way. But he walked through those seasons even though it wasn't comfortable. He went through it. He knew that every season was a preparation for something better, for a greater calling. All of that suffering that he did, and at the end he says, no, this was for you guys. He had every right to say, I don't care about you guys. The way I am in life is not because of you, it's because of God. But he says, no, I'd be missing the plot if I didn't bring you guys out of the suffering that you guys are into this wonderful way to which God has called me to do in your life. Let's go over to Ruth 1 verse 16, and it says, Ruth answered, please don't tell me to leave you and return home. It says, I will go where you go, I will live where you live. Your people will be my people, your God will be my God. So we all know the story of Ruth. If you don't know it, read the book. We know that Ruth, Naomi, that was her mother-in-law, her son died, but she stayed with her. He says, please don't tell me to leave. He says, wherever you go, I will go. She had no reason to still be with her mother-in-law because her son is dead. Naomi was saying, go and find another husband. She says, no, I will go where you go. And that is what Ruth was called to. Ruth was called to a season of loyalty. She was called to be loyal to her mother-in-law, even though she didn't have really any ties anymore. But something inside called Ruth to say that I shall be with this lady. And that is that Ruth was called to a season of loyalty. And what happened was she ended up finding this husband of hers who was such a great man, who was so loving to her, who was so caring for her. And there's no other way that was going to happen if Ruth left Naomi's side. So it doesn't need to make sense what season that you're called to. You just have to walk through that season. Whether it makes sense to you, whether it makes sense to other people, whether people will be judgmental, other people will have an opinion on what you're doing in this season. You just need to know, is this the thing that God has called you to? Is this what He has called you to operate in? And just walk through it. Just say, God, I don't care anymore what people think. Where you have called me, I will go. So yeah, these videos sometimes they don't even make sense to me really, and just it gets a bit tiring, when things are not working out the way you want them to. But I know that God is doing something, and I know He's preparing me for something. I know that the way things are going in my life right now is not a result of where they will be. It's just a stepping stone for me to get to the other side. And humbly, you have to operate in humility for seasons, because some of them are very painful, some of them are very tiring, some of them are very confusing. But it's just about, I'm going to allow God to shine in this season. I don't know, I don't have the full picture, but I just know that this is what He has called me to do, and I'm going to operate in it, and I'm going to have faith and trust Him that He's going to take me to the next level, and I'm going to capitalize on it. And as I said before already, I failed to capitalize on the season of me knowing who I am and knowing what God has called me to do, and it has overflowed into this new season of me, to which where I'm supposed to be acting in my calling and my gifts. I'm still trying to figure out the full picture of who I'm supposed to be. So it's a season of to which we must make sure we don't combine seasons, because it slows you down from this season. And what we don't want is for the same season to come back to back. After winter is not winter. After winter, we go to another season. So we have to ask God for strength. Whatever season that you have called us to, may we capitalize on it. May we be there in that season, so we don't have to, may not overflow into a new season. Because there's new things there, and there's new work there. And when you compare seasons, your life gets a bit stressful, it gets a bit tiring, because you're doing 2 jobs when you're supposed to be doing 1 job. Yeah, capitalize on your season. Another thing that I just share really what I find out in like the research that I do. So I was listening to this guy John Maxwell. I think I spoke about him yesterday, and he was talking about 50, 30, 20, and he was just talking about how like the money that you have, 50% should go into your needs, 30% should go to your wants, and 20% should go to investing. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, okay, 50%. So tithe is already one thing I know. My tithe is 50%. My tithe is in the 50%, and I was also thinking about the 20%, which is investing. And he was just talking about invest in whatever is going to take you closer to your goal. For a large time, I always thought it like when they talk about investing, it means I must invest in a business, or I must engage in a business activity. But it doesn't always have to be the case. It's just like what can get you closer to your goal. So like I want to be a great communicator. I could buy books. I could maybe get an editing app or whatever, get a phone or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be really directly related to a business. It's just like what can you invest in that can take you closer to what you want to do and what you want to be about. Whether it's like, I don't know, you want to be a hairstylist, buy I don't know what you call it, a roller, iron, whatever, so you can just like practice at home. Or yeah, what else did I learn? I learned also that I should watch my videos again to see like what could be distracting for the viewers, because I never even really thought about it. Like every time I post a video, I don't watch it over again. But John Maxwell, no, it was Priscilla actually. I forgot her first name, but I think she's a pastor from TBN, and she was saying that you should watch your videos over again to like see any small tics that could like distract the audience from gathering full attention to the words that you're saying. Yeah, so I'm gonna watch the video again. Yeah, what else did I learn? I learned some stuff I can't really think of much right now. Anyways, thank you guys. This has been a good week. I'm very grateful to God for the opportunity to pray. So much I've learned from my prayer walks and just being present in the place of with God. Yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. We'll be back tomorrow. Today is, I don't even know, I don't remember the date. Today is Friday the 19th of July, 8:34. It's gonna be a good day. Pray to God, speak to God, cover your day, ask God to protect you, ask God to direct your day. Consult God with the small things, consult God with the big things of your day. I love you guys. Pray for spirit of humility, pray for the spirit of discipline, pray for the spirit to continue, pray for the spirit for awareness of the season that you're in. Your wisdom is lacking on your own. You need to ask God to give you direction. You need God's wisdom to live this life, because it's very complicated, and He has all the answers. He's just looking for you to come to Him, to to show him that you need him, to show him that he is the only way, he's the truth and the light and the way. Peace out, guys. Have a good day.